Hello and welcome to another video tutorial with me, Jess, or Jelana, or however you want to call me. Today's tutorial is kind of an impromptu. We have gotten a request from a new player who wants to have this lovely young man on the picture here without glasses. So usually I would possibly ask for another picture. There are a couple of him there. His name is Vincent Ross II, I think. But I actually thought it could be a nice idea to use this as a challenge to see if I can do it. And I'm going to make a video out of that. So it's not really a tutorial, but I'm going along just as you are with this one. I have nothing prepared. I have no idea if I can make it. Thankfully, our new player, Tylon, I think it's called, it's pronounced, said that if the glasses can't be removed, it's not a big deal. So if I can make it, yay. If not, it's not that bad either. So even in Star Trek, a couple of people might still have glasses just because they prefer them. So who knows? So before I put him into a uniform or anything, I would first try to remove those glasses here. And let's see how that goes. I have actually no idea. So first let me make these thumbnails a bit smaller if I can get there. Yeah, that should be enough. Usually I have them in small. Yesterday I made them large because I just needed to see better the details on these thumbnails. So first I'm shrinking this, it's just a psychological thing. Okay, I'm making a bag of coffee, though I do non-destructive Photoshop work. I always like to have a backup copy. So the first thing we do is to mask out whatever we can so we don't have to go over that. A bit of a bigger brush there, that's okay. I'm reducing the spacing to 0 as always, so we don't have these nudges here when we want to make a straight line. So we want to get rid of the glasses, so I'm going in here and mask out this part of his face first. There. Getting away with this. So first I'm going to extrude the is it extrude? I don't even know. Take away his head from the rest of the backgrounds with other stuff that we don't need here. Let's go in here. We do need his neck, so we keep this. As you remember, when we mask out instead of erasing, I can easily make the stuff return that I need here. In case I need more skin, for example, at this part for the uniform, I can just do that. So let's continue masking this. There we go. We need a little smaller brush for this here. Making this beard a little bit more irregular. There we go. And making this bigger for the parts here that we know we can just mask out because we don't need them, like this here. We don't need his jeans shirt at all, or this white background. Just don't erase any more of his head. And this down here we don't need either. The only thing that I really have a problem with this picture is that his head cut off, but we might be able to reconstruct that later when we are done. with the rest of it. So I'm trying to first remove all the things we don't need so we can focus on these glasses. To do everything else doesn't make any sense yet, because if it doesn't work, that would be time wasted. So let's go in with a smaller brush here. Luckily this guy doesn't have any hair that we have to carefully cut out. So going a bit of a uneven stroke with the brush here to keep the slightly ragged hairline, and then we make this brush bigger again and erase. There, I went over, so there we go. Now we only have the head and can focus on that. Yippee! Now let's see the glasses. There are a couple of parts that would be easy to just stamp over, like these thin parts here, maybe even that gold part, but these around the eyes are the hardest. So we first go in and do the parts that are easier. I use the clone stamp tool that is right here, that looks like a stamp, not the pattern stamp, because I don't want to have a pattern on his face that doesn't belong there. So our clone stamp tool here, and try to make this brush just a little bit bigger than the area we need to cover here. And then I'm going in and press Alt to sample from the side close enough so we know it would not make a big gap between the skin tones. I leave it on cover and below because right now the only thing here is the layer there, and we not want to make that on a new layer to not destruct the actual picture. So we go on a new layer, use current and below up here, use the clone stamp, press Alt to select a piece of skin, and then go over this and see how lovely this works. Here the skin tone is a little bit more pink, so I'm sampling again. I might actually accidentally delete a couple of his freckles. I'm not a freckle enemy or anything, it just happens when you do this. So every now and then when I see that the color of the skin changes to more pink or darker or anything, I'm going in and resample to make sure that the skin still works. So now we have to, there we go. That doesn't look too bad. Now on the other side. And as you can see, here we have a shadow of the glasses, so we will have to go there, but make sure that you don't go over the edge of the nose here. So actually I'm taking a sample from the edge of the nose here and go along the edge of the nose to make sure that it's not just drawn over. Right now I need a little bit of a bigger brush to make sure that this edge here isn't too harsh. And flow a bit down to not fully paint over this, and makes it more natural. There we go, that's much better. There. Okay, and then let's try this part here with a smaller brush again. Along the edge. And here these eyes are, the skin under his eyes is much darker. So I'm going with that here. In small steps. Okay, that's that. Now let me try to get this handle thingy. I don't know how we call it in English. I'm not really checking right now. The shadow here is from his ear, so let's take this shadow a bit more to the front. Then this hair base a bit, and this hair base here. And draw over this, and then here the skin for the shadow of the frames. Glasses, I mean. I really want to see this go. So, taking a bit of something further away so it doesn't look too repeated. If you use the stem tool to often, let's say we take this little freckle here and then put it here and there and there and there, and it looks like too repeated if you do it too often. So let me step back here. There. So every now and then I take a sample from a bit further away, so it doesn't look like I use the same part over and over and over. Here it might have happened, so I'm going in there. There, look at this. Now flow down, brush a bit bigger, because the hairline here is too harsh. So I'm going there and soften this a little. Now this doesn't look too shabby. Still not very happy with this part here, so there, like that better. Covering up this area here a bit so it doesn't look like there was something erased. Same with, oops, sample here, there we go. Same with this part here. Okay, now the important part is to make this here natural, and this will be difficult because I can't paint, so the whole reconstruction with painting over something isn't something I can do. So first let me try to get this out of the way. There, his nose. It's really great for this there. So instead of reconstructing, I'm trying to replace something and adjust the colors and stuff with parts from another picture of him. So I have this picture here and this one with more hair. He looks totally different, I think. First I'm going to try this picture and see if I can transfer the parts around the eyes from this to the other. So let me make a nice big selection here so I can easily remove and mask stuff. And then we have to bring it in here. I just use Control C and Control V for copy and then paste. I don't know why paste has a V, but yeah. Flip horizontal to have it in the right direction. Control T. Oh, I accidentally Control L. Haha. Okay, Control T for the universal free transform thing here. And I'm going in here, make this a bit more transparent so I can see where I'm doing my stuff. This is a bit too big. I'm holding down my shift key so the sides remain the same. How do you call it? Constraint of the... I can't English today. I really don't know. You know that this side length and this side length and stuff remain the same. So okay, it might be a bit too transparent. I don't see much. There, that's better. What I want to do is to fit this eye over the eye in this picture here. And it would be really great if my computer wouldn't be so slow now. So this seems to be okay. This part we can still stamp over, so I'm going to mask this a bit softer here. So first I am adding a mask here on the layer by clicking this little button there. It's vector mask. Then I'm using black as always to cover up, using a soft brush here and going in to mask happily there. Now, one thing we don't want is that he looks in that direction, so I'm going to mask out this eyeball here. Smaller brush and carefully going in here. So this way he still looks at it. You see, now it looks like he has a black eye, but we changed that now. We go in and first use the selective color tool, I think. Make this a clipped mask. You might remember that, but as I repeated, it's Alt and hover your mouse between those two layers, so the selective mask only affects this layer. If you can't find the middle between them for some reason, just right click on the selective color and create clipping mask that automatically clips it to the layer below. So there we go. Now we go through these single colors here. We don't want to have it this yellowish pinkish and not this darkish here. So I go to the red and see if I can take out some like this. And maybe make it lighter. This was better already. Yeah, a bit magenta out of it, but not too much because that looks weird. I'm basically playing around here because I am not sure what I'm doing. It doesn't affect anything. This neither. Why are there no blues? Magenta. Nothing. Okay. Whites. That neither. We might have to go into another. Okay, this is affecting something, but it's really hard to do. Oh, look there, we get closer. Now we go in and use saturation, again clipping mask. It still affects the base layer down here, and only that, not the rest. So first there you a bit, taking out some saturation, and then we take the brightness and contrast and do the same with the clipping mask and try to get the contrast a bit more. Now let's zoom out a bit. It isn't bad, but this part here is really dark. So, and this is too bright. So, let me try. This might be a bit better. Now we go in and new layer, clipping mask, set to overlay, and then fill with a 50% gray. Now, first you see nothing happening here, and that is completely normal, so don't freak. Now I show you some non-destructive. I said I can't English today. Burn and dodge. So we take this brush here, a bit, that size is okay. Exposure 9 sounds good. Protect tones, I usually turn that off because it messes with my stuff. And then we carefully lighten up this area, maybe a bit more. There, we carefully lighten up this area here. So he doesn't look like he just got banged in the face by someone. Just a little bit, and look at this magic! That is so nice. Okay, then we take the burn tool and do the same carefully with a little bit of a bigger brush here. Protect tones off and go in a little bit. And now we see that there's a bit too much yellow here. So let me go to the yellow and take it out a little bit. Bit more magenta. And take a bit of the yellows out of the magenta. This ginger thing. Maybe it's the reds. Yeah. This isn't too shabby actually. So almost happy with that. Almost, it's a bit too green down here now. So maybe this was a bit much of dodging. So let's see if I can, no. Actually, let me make a, no, not a new layer. A new hue saturation here. Again, clip this. Bit of desaturation there. And then we fill this with black. Paint bucket tool here. And take a brush, make it wide to show stuff. And just go around the edge here. So we can make this better. There, that's better. Something here is too grey. You see this? I don't know. Maybe it's me, but I see that and I don't like it. It looks a bit odd. Let me go back down here and let's see if I can just... Okay, the glasses start there. So let me start a new layer here. Go back to this stamp tool and sample a bit of the brow section here and just stamp this over. There. And there, this looks better. And same here. That means right now we fix the edges with the actual skin tone, which works rather well. There. Now we have to make sure that, oops, This doesn't look like he has a huge nose. So we go in here, new layer, overlay, again fill with 50% gray. And now this is what you do when you see when you don't clip, and this is what you see when you don't make a clean mask. First there, and the other one there. Okay. When you don't clip, you see the whole background getting gray, and we can't do this. So first I'm hitting Control and on the mask of the face, and then do the same here. So this way we have a dodge burn layer here that only affects the face because we masked out the background. So I'm going to use a burn, small burn, low burn, and go up here a little bit to give this a bit more depth. It's okay if it is over the edge because we can lower these, and there it is much better. How did we do that again? No, that wasn't it. Was it this? No. Oh, I have to click the other. There. Alt and on the eye here you can see that there's this little line that we want to have. Now let me make a new layer here. I will turn everything on again once I'm done with that. I'm going in with a small brush with this size. It should be like 2, yeah. I sampled the color here by having the brush activated and pressing Alt, and I went in here. Now I'm going to this, and since I added a new layer I have to turn them all on by hand, but so we know this is where the line should be. Go in and there, just softened the line, and then I go in a bit and fine shape that. Oh, history eraser, accidentally clicked the thing there. Now look at that, is much better. Okay, so that is this. Then we have to fix this part over there, which we do on this layer where we already used the stamp tool. I'm so sorry for all these mistakes today. I'm really sorry. I don't know why I do them. Maybe I should have slept more. So we sample this here and go over this. Make sure that we don't touch too much of the brow. There. That gives one side done. The other side hopefully will be just as easy. Let me save this first. I haven't saved anything. Oh my god. Imagine crashing now. Yeah, so this was this. The other side. Would this work better or this? No, this worked better. Another big selection here. Control C for copy. First let me push all of these into a folder and call them left eye. Of course it is his right eye from his side, but from our side it's left. So let's take left eye, pardon me, and this is clone frames. skin, whatever. I usually don't name my layers really, and that is not very helpful because I keep searching and searching for the stuff that I need to find and I can't find that. So name your layers, guys. That will help you. Don't be me. Be smart. Okay, so left eye is done, so let's go to the right eye. Where is my... there it is. There's the right eye. That looks funky. We go back to transform, flip horizontal to have the right direction. Make this a bit more transparent, like so. Getting a bit closer here. Hello. Control T for free transform. You can also go to transform and scale and rotate and do it all in single steps. I prefer to free transform because I can rotate and I can scale. It's the same tool without having to change all the time. So let me put this here, make it smaller. Holding shift again helps you to keep the aspect ratio, that's the word, aspect ratio, constrained to the ratio you have already so it doesn't get deformed. I'm trying to zoom in a bit. Video always makes my PC a bit slower. I'm taking this middle nubby thingy here and put it in the corner of the eye after I placed that so I can rotate the eye around that spot. Now let me see if I'm actually, no, I haven't. Control T, again there, and the eye is down there. Okay, this should work. Let me see if it does. Then again, we click on the layer we have working on. We use the add layer mask. Use a soft brush and start erasing the hell out of this. Masking, I mean. I don't erase. So, okay, that might be a bit too much erased, but first I want to make sure to not take too I try to keep the shape of the eye kind of. The lower part was fine, as you can see here it was fine, but the upper part is cut off. So what we will try is to reconstruct this here in a way that it isn't too weird. So this looks not too bad. We will have to work on the frame covering anyway, so let me take another brush with a little bit of a harder edge for this part here. I'm not sure if that really works, but let's see. We take a puppet warp. This allows you to basically shape the stuff you have a little bit better. So we can do this. Yeah, okay. I have to work on that a bit. So now we want to have the rest of the eye back here. So I'm actually using a copy of his own eye to finish his eyeball. Come on, there. I'm doing copy, paste, flip horizontal, and then Control T for free transform, rotating this a bit. and eyeballing this, pun intended, like this, and with a tiny, not tiny enough there, tiny clone stem, I go in and remove the black of the frame from the top of the eye. Ah, gotcha. No, that looks awful. How can I salvage this? Maybe with a bit of a highlight there. Like this. Bit of a black maybe. Not too black, not too big. Maybe like a dark brown, just a bit darker. And move the highlight over that, like on the other eye. That isn't too bad. It looks a bit like he got punched in the face. Let me see if I can actually cover the glasses without having to use that, for example, but no, I can't do that. Maybe I can. Yes, sorry, this is the thing when I do something without preparing. I'll have to try out a lot of stuff. So this is the original work that I do with the graphics. And you are witness to that now. I am not all-knowing. It's scary, I know. I have to move that up. There. This might be better just to use his own eye. Now this looks scary, I know, but we get there. Sorry. My throat is a little bit weird today. So this is too little. And now we go in and there, that was a mistake. Okay, this bit over there. Positioning. That's very, really important to make sure that you get the eyes on the right spot. So we have this. Go to a bit of a softer brush again. Make sure that this is happening. Might have to change the color here a little bit, but it looks better than the other one that looked like a bee stung him in the face, and we don't want that. So, let me see, brightness contrast maybe. Bit of, yeah, they're here. That's okay. And now we will start with the fun part, because this will be hard. I'm actually going to sample some skin from around and try to adjust the color later and hope that will work. Okay, 2 is too small. Let's try 4. We go in here. And try whatever we can to make this work. This is really a challenge. I don't think I've ever removed glasses before. I've added them, but that is very different. I might have to give him some nice eyelashes later. But first get rid of the frames. This is so much fun. I might not sound like it, but I'm really enjoying this. Because I'm learning new stuff. See if I can do something. And that is the best thing ever. Now look, that isn't too bad. This and this. Now let's merge this stuff here. We can work on that together. Now first there. It was too dark. That's better. Now we have to adjust this, of course, to make it look less weird. Okay, that is why it looks so strange. What do we do here is to make a new layer below that, sample some of the eye white and cover frame stuff here. So there we go. So this doesn't have this weird, oddly shaped red halo. Let's add another layer mask. And see where's wrong layer. That was a problem. It's there. So using this, there are some fragments of this skin there. This is here. 3 and covering this black again. Make sure the highlight doesn't go too far up there. And now we can work on the skin color here. So first let me go again to selective color, clipping mask, and see if I can make something better already. I think we need to see the big picture with that. Yellows. Yellow. A bit more yellow is nice. A bit darker is okay. Not much more magenta, just a little bit. And a bit of the blue maybe. Let's see if... no, still doesn't affect anything. So neutrals. Tick magenta. Keep the yellow like this. Something is off. It's still the reds. Maybe. Okay, let's try this and try actually to give him a nice eyebrow. I'm not sure if I have eyebrows in my... there, I have not eyebrows, lashes. I have lashes here. Let me see something that isn't too feminine. That's way too much. Is this better? No, let me take this. Make a new layer and doesn't give me anything here. That could be because I used this clone tool. That worked so well. Okay, now actually the brush. Let me make it smaller. Put something on the layer here. Control T, rotate that around. And I see I have a white halo on a new layer. Okay, first let me get a new layer. Then brush, brush, then Control T, turn, edit, transform, flip, and then I know this looks bad, but we will work on that. Things might often look weird in the start. So yeah, sorry I had to interrupt that for a second. So where was I? So, yeah, things might look strange when you start with them. Sometimes they don't look right, but with a little bit of work, we can make them work just fine. So since I don't like the eraser, we go in again and make a mask layer. Use the brush, change it because we don't want to draw with wimpers, what the eyelashes. In German it's Wimpern, so yeah, that's weird. And then we go in and erase some of those because they're too long. For this one we go a bit closer, make the brush a bit smaller, maybe a T, so it isn't weirdly cut off. There, and this looks better already. Then we go to brightness, contrast, and that is what will happen when you don't use the clipping. It affects the whole picture, but we only want to affect this little eye piece. Bring down the contrast, up a little bit of brightness, and then we do the same thing we did before. Oh, what? Is there anything on that layer? Let's delete it. Okay, make a layer above and use the own skin to fix some of the edges. Flow down to 13. Use the skin here and go along the edge there. Then we use a bit of eyebrow and go along this edge there to make it all look a bit more natural. Now the lashes is a bit too dark, so I bring down the opacity a bit so it's only a hint of eyelashes there. And take this color and go around the edge here, just a little bit. Right now he looks like he's wearing eyeliner, which isn't a bad thing, but that doesn't work with the other eye, so let's tone that down a little. Go back to the lashes and just tone those down a little too. You see, the rest is basically his own eye. and the glasses are gone. So let's save this again. Now we save the whole eye stuff here into a new folder so we can see a before and after. I think this little bit of hair there is too much. So you can see this area there. It's not there in the original and it looks a bit weird. So let me find it now. That is, ladies and gentlemen, why you rename your layers. I actually renamed it and forgot that I did. So taking a brush about the size, taking the flow down and make it softer there. Oh, that's better. So you can see I already removed the glasses and it looks good. I'm surprised, but yeah, if it's good, it's good, it's good. So we have this nice, oh, I accidentally duplicated that. Wanted to group it. Okay, this is, yeah. Pretty sure the eye shouldn't be very squinted here, but actually it's not that bad. It gives him something. So now that we have this, I can close these files here. And we want to put him into a uniform. So he's from the side, so the best would be a side view uniform. And we might have to reconstruct his head because we have to tilt him a little. So let me take this uniform here. And I have already adjusted the color to teal because he's in science. So I grab both, duplicate layer to the Tumblr image file, and then I close this and yes, save it. Okay. The uniform might be a bit big, or the picture is just too small, I don't know. So yeah, it's a bit big. One thing you see is that the uniform is in a different direction, so sometimes I change the direction of the uniform, sometimes of the head. In this case I have to change the face because the communicator and the pips are on the right side, on the correct side here. So I'm going to flip horizontal, then Control T for free transform, and tilt this a little, and change the size to fit. Now, I've mentioned this before, but yeah, he does look a bit weird when you do it like this. Maybe we can change something. Oh yeah, that is okay. So the head to uniform ratio. I usually take fingers at my screen and measure it like that to difference between the forehead, like here the hairline, which you can see here, and the chin here should be about the same as between the chin and the chest. So in this case, let me draw something. Let me show you on the doll there. We have a red line there. We make a, it's too big there. I make a red line here across his face, which doesn't show much because I forgot to put the flow back up. So headline to chin, and we take this then and measure from chin to chest. Control T. There. This should be just fine. delete that again. So now first part of his head is missing, second his chin is in the collar. So we first remove part of the collar to fit with the head. So 100% on this. Why doesn't this? Oh, that was wrong. Accidentally painted on the hue saturation of the collar instead of the uniform. So let's add a layer mask here. That's 1 second. Sorry about that. And then go in here with a hard brush, because we need a hard brush here. So let me see how far this goes here. So change to white to paint over the area that we need to have back. I need a smaller brush for this. So a little bit into the beard to make it look natural. A little bit more. I don't know if you can hear it, but I can hear trumpets outside. That means the guys from the circus are going around again. We have some guys, if you come by once a week, play the trumpet to get the attention for their circus or something. So see, that works. What we do now is we make a new layer, clip it to the uniform layer, so above the hue saturation. Make it black, a little bit bigger like this, and then we paint around the edge here. Right now it looks weird because it's too dark, of course. But what we do is we bring down the opacity and make it a bit softer, and that way it looks like your chin is actually throwing a shade. So what do we do here? So we can't just put a head on it, so we can't just cut it off. So I'm going to try to reconstruct that too. This head here is cut off as well, so let me take a look if I can find a picture of him with a full head that isn't long hair. So give me a second, I'll be right back. And I am back. So I didn't find a picture like I needed. Most of them were cut off. I don't know, maybe he likes his head cut off some for the pictures. He also missed the music. They just stopped with when the Saints go marching in, which was rather nice actually. So I use this picture here and just clone stamp the little bit that is missing here. I already copied it in to check if it works there, so we will have to adjust the colors, but otherwise it should work. First let me mask off the white background. Need a hot brush, make sure the spacing is at 0, and go in like this, and on this side as well. There we go. Now first we try to match the color as good as possible. Now that can be rather hard, it can be rather easy. We will see how that works. First, dry hue saturation. We make a clipping mask to the head that I put under this head here. And let's see, first increase saturation. See the lightness of this is actually rather rubbish, so let me add another brightness contrast and make it a clipper. And let's try like this. This isn't too bad already. Let's just keep it like this first. We will fix stuff later. Then selective color and clip that again. Add some yellow, maybe a bit of kind of magenta or magenta or however you pronounce it. Well, okay, let's try this. I made this piece a bit bigger than needed, so I can go in and this is a nice trick, by the way, to mask a group, so I don't have to find the layer again. And we go in and soft, gently mask the edge here. That way the blending is much easier too. And we can see here that the cap I just started isn't right size. So we resize this a little bit to fit the rest. Which also means I have to go in again and erase backgrounds and mask background. And so, oops, with black brush, go in and mask this. Now this isn't perfect by any means, so I'm going to the back, the top. I use the stamp tool, stamp some hair and get it on there. This way we get some of the texture that we have here, but not on the other picture. And we don't make it too much because we have the flow down. Oops, which is exactly what we should do to make it realistic. Resample. It's the same we go with here with the nice shaven sides to keep the texture and adjust also some of the color that we didn't match perfectly. So get this here. There, now this is not perfect, of course. I would have preferred to have an actual full head of hair. I don't know what's going on here. Yes, it's because of the video lag, so let's make this a bit stronger. And now we come to the part that I spoke of earlier, reconstruction of the rest. So I am going to clone stamp widely around here and then later shape the skull to fit the rest. So I'm going in here a bit stronger because it can't be transparent later. And go along this. Oh, what the thing? There. A bit stronger and a rough shape. of a skull. I can still correct the lights and everything. Okay, now I'm going back to flow of 17 to fix the blending here. Okay, I should go undo this because I accidentally cloned part of the ear there. I don't want that. And soft edge of this there. Now this isn't perfect, as I said before, but it's much better than having a cut off head, if you ask me. So going in with my brush, spacing 0, and shape this, which doesn't look too bad. Now let me put all of this together into one folder, clip a layer there, grab a bit of this dark brown here, make the brush big and soft. Yeah, this is okay, and then carefully go along this edge here. Maybe you want to play around with the blend layers. This is nice, subtract, to give it a three-dimensional thing. So we have removed glasses, we have constructed head, we have put them in the uniform. Now the only thing missing is the background. So I have a folder here with background stuff, image chain, background, stash scenes, big scenes actually. And he is a scientist, so I'm trying to use something that works well with science. Could either be a bridge, or I like the lab actually. So let me grab the lab, make this picture a bit smaller, about 600 maybe. Let me put the lab in, and what we see here is usually what's happening when you use masks. I had that happen all the time, so I'm going in to find the mask that is causing it. In this case it's the head. So I go to the layer on the mask and choose a black hard brush and just go along the edge once, here, there, and there. And now, since the background is darker, we also see that we still have a couple of white spots around the head. So we go in and see that nothing happens here but there. So we have to go to the cap layer here and remove that too. Another thing that I like to do is I go in and make a new mask layer there, not my clip layer, and I just clone a bit from what we have here. I did that, but it doesn't work here for some reason. Oh, yeah, of course. So either that, or we just take a bit of color and paint over that, especially in cases where we would make big dents. There. Now we have this. The background doesn't fit size-wise. Let me see if it's stretched too much, if I make it bigger. Actually, that works. Usually I make the person smaller and the background stays the same, but we would have to cut a bit here to make it work better. So there's this. Now he's a bit too bright for the rest, so I'm going to again group all this, and this is the person. I'm duplicating this by dragging it down to the new layer. The original is going to be hidden, and this person copy one is merged to one layer. That is the way I do it. If you don't do it that way, don't fret, it's okay. And now we can actually go in and do this here, what I wanted to do before. I just clone stamp some of the hair to the lighter halo. That way the halo takes the color of the skin or the hair or whatever you need, and it looks more natural than when you just cut it off and end up with a possible dent in the head or the ears or wherever you work on, or the hair looks too stringy or something like that. So we do this. I merge this down because we still have the backup copy in the person folder. Then go to image, adjustments, and match color. This is a great tool. As you can see in a moment, you change, you here go to the file, so this is Tumblr something file, and then to the layer. This is layer 23. Now this is way too dark, of course, but you can fade this to a point where this fits more into the background. You can change with the, you can change the luminance if it is too dark for you, like this. Color intensity, I usually just keep my hands off. So this is now, this is before. As you can see, it works so much better. So yeah, this was this. And there's one thing that we do is watermarking and logo. So I'm going to show you that too. We have this nice little watermark here that we worked on, that we put on the picture, not on the face of course. Make it a bit bigger to be all across the picture. In this case it is a bit too strong, so I'm lowering it a little bit. Then we grab the logo. It is a bit too big, so Ctrl J and resize, and there we have our picture. Now I'm going to actually save it under a proper name. In this case it is Tylon. Save it as a PNG as well, because I'm going to upload that on the wiki and PSDs are bad for keys. And that's it. So we have managed to change this whole picture from, wait a second, from this to this. Wow. Yeah, that's it. So we can close all of this here now. Okay. And if you have a challenging character picture to do, just go into the forums and request one. You can also come to one of our Image Collective people personally, of course, if you want to. You can also request a video tutorial, or like we did right now, go along and see how Jess messes up picture kind of thing. Whatever you want to do, feel free to do that. We're always happy to have you request your images and request video tutorials or go along picture videos, some things. And I hope that next time I can show you something again that will help you for any of your graphic things. And until then, stay creative. Bye.